Hello, ladies and gents. My name is Rupa.
And my name is Vinay.
And we are a married couple. And the name of our podcast is called Bold and Brown. I'm bold, he's brown.
I can live with that. So, this week's topic is my most favourite. It's my motto. It's my slogan. Actually not in this house. In our old house, Rupa knows I had an affirmation at the top, or not the ceiling, but it was like a little, there's like a little bit there where it sticks out a little bit. And I had it painted there, this phrase, which has single-handedly changed my life. I don't know, Rupa, what kind of impact it's had on yours, but for me, it's been a life changer.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely got me to be a lot more open-minded. It's got me to being open to other people's strengths and understanding where I may be lacking or my weaknesses. So, what's the topic, brown boy?
It is very simple. Who do you listen to? Who do you listen to? Who do you listen to?
It's a deep one, actually.
You got to ponder that.
Yeah.
You got to meditate on that, because like I said to you, this is probably the most powerful lesson I've ever learned. And the question obviously is, who do you listen to? And the answer is even more deeper, it is, the thing is, it's like we probably know this, but do we apply it? And I think for majority of people, I know for myself, to this day, I mean, it's something you have to practice every day. It is not applied. The answer is very simple, and I'm going to hand it over to Rupa.
As I was saying, I didn't quite understand when I first heard that, right? But then when I got to going through my process of, personal development and different people and listening to different people, I realized there's actually not one person that you may want to go to or listen to for different advice. Like, have you ever sort of, for an example, had the situation where, like, let's just say you're married or you're a mother and you've gone to a friend who may be single and doesn't have any kids, and you've gone to her to seek advice, her or him, and they're kind of giving you advice which you may feel like, oh, I don't know if I can relate to that, or I don't know if I should apply it that way. And end of the day, it's really a little bit of, a disconnect, because they are not experiencing what you're experiencing, or they haven't gone through the journey that you're currently going through. And that's kind of what we mean by who you listen to. Right?
I mean, absolutely. I was just thinking back now when you were speaking, because, my sister had kids before me. And, as you go over there, you're the mamaji, the uncle. And I remember thinking, or even saying, I was like, you should do, out of love. I mean, I'm not saying to criticize.
And because you're the eldest as well, right? So
yeah, so I'm just saying that, you should do this or this with them. Little did I know, number one is I don't have kids. So I'm the wrong person to give advice. And number two is, even if I do have kids, does my sister want her kids to grow up the way my kids are growing up? That's the question. And the answer may be no, but we do this naturally. But we have been almost conditioned to take advice from people who do not have what it is that we want. So the question is, who do we listen to? The answer is very simple, and this is probably the biggest thing I've ever had or learnt in my life. Only listen to the people, ladies and gentlemen, who have what it is that you want and have been where you are. That's it.
Wow, yeah.
Now, once you apply that, you will realize, I realized, that I could now stop listening to 95% of people, including family and friends, because they did not have what it is that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm not willing to exchange places with them. And they may come from a position of love. They may come from a position of, you confide in them, you respect them. But unfortunately, my parents telling me how to live a healthy lifestyle, I look at my parents and I didn't see a healthy lifestyle. But they were very confident. They believed what they were saying and doing. And to a large extent, they are right in certain things. But that is the moral. That's why the passion took me over, even when that spider was there. Because this means so much to me. Because when we're young, especially when we're really young, who do we listen to? We listen to our parents. We listen to our family. We listen to our uncles and aunties. So I always say that we don't get financial education from school. We get financial education from our parents. We will do pretty much, or we will earn even pretty much what our parents are earning.
Yeah.
because we listen to them subconsciously.
Exactly. And you know, that's such a great example actually, because I don't know where this kind of entrepreneurial, I wouldn't even say blood, or this kind of like feeling from inside me. I don't know when or where it came about. Actually, I can tell you when. It was probably around about in my late teens. I would say my late teens, you know, with my GCSE results. And I was just thinking, well, I've only been taught that I can get a really good job if my grades are good or if I have good results in my exams. But seeing as I don't, what other route can I take? Like, I'm not going to get a great job now. And that was what was in my mind. And so when I decided about, well, actually, I want to be a businesswoman. And I remember doing a project in university, and that was the first A and the only A I've ever had in my life. And it was an entrepreneurial project where you had to set up your own business and all this, you know, like make-believe thing, but actually practically organize things. And I was like, wow, I really enjoy this. I'm really good at it. But the thing is, I couldn't go to my parents for advice about entrepreneurship because they have been working like just a normal, regular job. My dad used to work for the Royal Mail. My mum used to work for the post office. And I was like, I am definitely not following that route, you know, no offense or anything like they love their jobs. You know, they loved their jobs when they were working. My dad's retired now. And that was their choice. And that's something that they take great pride in. And, you know, I'm happy that they're happy. But it wasn't a route for me to take. So where was I going to get my advice from? And the only person that I could really resonate with at that time was one of my uncles from my dad's side, who was and still is a very, very successful entrepreneur. And he's actually my inspiration. When I look at, you know, the way they've run their business and the kind of lifestyle they live and the house they live in Kenya, and like, yes, it's hard work, but then they also have a life of choice. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, I should follow exactly what I've been told, or I can only listen to these people. You listen to where you feel that your success will come from. It doesn't have to be from your family or specific people. You just got to look at, as Vinay said, like whose results do you want your results to be a reflection of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so like, you know, family, you know, our parents. I remember listening to another great mentor of ours, Holton Buggs, and he says, you know, when I was younger, I was listening to my mentor, who was my mum, and he has this really good on GoPro, if you ever see it on YouTube, Expand Your Mind. That's the name of the video that he did, the talk. And he says that, how can I listen to my mother? I want to be a millionaire. And all she's ever earned is something like, you know, $1,500 a month. And that's so true. You know, our parents have the best intentions. And, you know, my dad said to me, you know, I never had a chance to, you know, further studies, or, you know, I wasn't pushed towards there. Well, you know, I came into the country, blah, blah, blah. So he pushed me towards law because that's what he thought would be the best thing for me. So whilst he was well-intentioned, and it's a great career, I love being a lawyer. I say I'm a part-time lawyer because I realised that, you know, doing law is great, but I'd rather be an entrepreneur. There's so many other ways to make money online. There's more fulfillment, I find, in what we do in terms of what we've done in network marketing, holding events. You know, we've travelled different countries around the world, holding events, attending events. And that for me, then I had to listen to our mentor when I met. We've had so many mentors, but the mentors we had, they had the results, what we wanted. They had the lifestyle, and we listened to them. See, a lot of people, they go and meet their friends. You know, you got your Friday friends, or you got your whatever. You got your uni mates. You got your. It might be your local schoolmates. It might be from your religious temple if you go to the religious temple. You know, those mates, and you might sit around and chat. And you know, in chatting, we always, you know, through good intention, we give each other advice. Oh, you should do X, Y, and Z. Now, because I had this quote firmly in my mind, who do you listen to? I started to realise that I am not going to listen to this advice. Now, not for 1 minute am I saying to you, you stop people in their tracks. Say, wait a minute, I can't listen to you because you don't have what I want. No. You let them finish, obviously. Out of respect. It just goes in one ear and out the other. I'll be like, yeah. And I'll be like, let's change the subject now, shall we?
Yeah.
So it just became a norm. It became a way of life that I'm consciously making a decision to only listen to people who have what it is that I want. And that is just so easy to spread out in all different areas in business. You know, am I going to listen to somebody who's never done a business before, like when we started network marketing, how much ridicule do we get because they've never done
Yeah.
a business before, done a job, and they said, what you're doing is not going to work.
Exactly.
It's a scam.
Yeah. It's a pyramid.
You name
this,
it.
that.
And you're like,
Yeah.
what results have you got in your life? Most people
Yeah.
who are doing it during a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5,
Yeah.
and did not have the results that we wanted, did not live the
Exactly.
lifestyle that we wanted,
Yeah.
yet we place so much weight because they're family, which
Yeah.
I understand, you're upset. But at the end of the day, when you live in this higher perspective, that you don't have what it is that we want, you're speaking from a good place,
Yeah.
but we're not going to take that on board. So that's in business. How about finances? In relationships. People give advice, you should go out with someone. So, well, how great is your relationship? What relationship are you in one, first of all?
Yeah.
And if you are in one, is it the one that I would want to copy? Like
Exactly.
Grant and Elena Cardone.
Such
Can't
inspirations.
they tell me
Power
they
couple.
they tell me to jump, I say how high.
Yeah.
That's how much you should be listening
Yeah.
to somebody who has what you want. And the last thing is in health. I've been listening to people do this diet, do this. You can get a six-pack like this. You can get more muscle like this. You can lose your fat like this.
Yeah.
The person who's speaking to you, if they're over or underweight or don't have what it is that you want, immediately discard them. I would say, you discard. You tell them, excuse me, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not saying confront them. I'm not saying challenge them and start.
Yeah.
Because that's very rude. That's very egotistical.
Yeah.
It's about you recognizing that if the person doesn't have the body that you want, it's like you go into the gym and your personal trainer is overweight. You're like, if you couldn't help yourself, how are you going to help me? But we do that subconsciously or consciously throughout our lives. So I think it's about recognizing that big. Guys, this for me is gold. It's gold.
It really is. And, I just thought of when you're giving these examples, if we had listened to, I would say, 95% of people around us who were telling us at the time when we were thinking about going into Forex trading, if we had listened to 95% of these people, we actually probably wouldn't be trading right now. This is how much of an impact, opinions can make. And they're opinions of people who don't have the results that you want or are not expertise in that field. I know Vinay's own accountant, do you remember? He said, don't touch it. No, I know people that have lost tens of thousands of pounds. You're a lawyer, stick to what you know. We've had family members saying, hey, you know what, we tried it. We lost thousands straight away. Don't do it, kind of thing.
So we're listening to all the people who are unsuccessful.
Exactly.
Wouldn't it be better to find a profitable trader
Exactly.
and just ask them, what did you do? They'll probably say, don't listen to anyone.
Yeah, and that's what we found, right? There was that one individual who was young,
Yeah.
didn't work in a corporate job, had a nice car, lived in a nice house, and we're like, what are you doing? And this person needs to be on their charts all the time. He said, hey, I'm trading, but you know what? Do me a favor. If you're going to learn this, don't ask for any advice from people. Don't try and copy people. Get yourself into a course, a proper course. Pay the money you got to pay and learn it the right way. And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah. And it's funny, following on from that, I remember when we paid for a Forex trading course, which costs tens of thousands. And the coach, if you remember what he said, I don't know if you remember, but he said that, when you're trading and if you're in a relationship, your wife, if she asks you, how's it going? I don't know how this came back, but he said, you should say to her, I'm not allowed to talk to you about what's going on. My coach said so. Because, in trading, it's a funny game where, you have wins and losses.
Yeah.
And the concept is you make your wins more than your losses. But most people look to eradicate the losses, or they don't see as losses. They see you're not winning. It's not working. So, I remember he giving that example, but it's as funny as it is, actually the truth is we need to listen to people who are where we want to be and have been where we are. So we're not talking about people who, we've all heard of people who are born with that saying, with a golden spoon in their mouth, or come from a certain background. I'm not talking about them because they're just born into it.
Yeah.
They haven't gone through the ups, downs, challenges that
Exactly.
you need to go through.
Inheritance and all that, that's different, right? They've got to be someone who's worked from the ground up, especially if that's where you're starting from ground zero.
Yeah. Right. So, I when I understood this concept, or the more I'm understanding it, forgive me, the more I'm getting and finding people who can help me and who can help Rupa. And, you know, guys, sometimes you have to pay for that. You know, we've paid for coaching.
Yep.
I've paid for personal training.
Yeah.
We've paid for Forex course. We paid for hypnosis course. I'm sure, Bob Proctor course.
Yeah.
Social media marketing course.
So many things.
So many things. Why? Because
Yeah.
you need to either... You can get it for free sometimes. You know,
Yeah.
I have a good friend who's just got the most phenomenal physique, you know, like 6-7% body fat. And he's phenomenal. There's not a guy like him. And the funny thing is, when you speak to him and you ask for advice, he'd almost tell you the opposite
Yeah.
of what the world is doing.
Yeah.
And I have other friends who know this guy as well. And then they say, you know, what's going on? I say, speak to this guy. And when he tells them what to do sometimes,
Yeah.
either they disagree with him or they have, even better, this is when you're open, you have aha moments. You're like, oh my God, I didn't understand. It's just, you know, I love the saying, you know, Bob Proctor says, you know, if you want to do well in life in general, look at what the world does and do the exact polar opposite.
Yeah.
It's literally that bizarre, because it's like the blind are leading the blind in a sense.
Yeah.
So, guys, I can't stress this. I don't think we can stress this enough. I mean, who do you listen to in all areas? I mean, again, spirituality.
Yeah.
You know, you speak to an atheist and you say, listen, I don't know about God. You know, what's going on out there? You know, let me know. Well, he'll be like, you know, he's not someone who's spiritually what you would consider. Again,
Yeah.
it may be a difference of opinion. And that's okay, because, you know, a person who I might say to Rupa, like, Rupa, look at that physique. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example, in his peak. You know, for
And
me,
you do. He looks at guys more than he does girls.
yeah, I do.
Which is
because
a good
it's
thing.
a gym thing, and guys would understand. I might say that, look at that Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, wow, look at that physique. And Rupa or another girl would be like, oh, that guy's so overdone.
Yeah.
So overdone. What the hell? I look at someone like lean with a muscly physique,
Yeah.
you know. So yes, it varies from individual to individual. Someone might look at someone and say, well, he's just got loads of money. That's not me. That's fine. I look at someone who's got loads of money, I'm still not impressed. But someone who has loads of, like, who's wealthy, let's put it that way, who's wealthy, who has the means, who's living in a life of abundance in finances,
Yeah.
but also is a family man. You know, for me, a male in a male role, you know, a father figure, who's a loving father, who looks good, who likes to look good as well.
Yeah.
He has abundance, he's a giver, and he's spiritual. That, for me, is the person I'm listening to all day long. They tell me to jump. I'll say,
Yeah.
how high?
Yeah. And, you know, I remember a situation where, like, while we were going through this journey, and not even that long ago, like, fairly, I would say, the last few years, I remember we hit a certain level in our business, right? And my mother-in-law was freaking out. I mean, we had, you know, affirmations printed out everywhere. We had the posters and everything. We're like, we're so happy and grateful. We've hit this rank or whatever. And before it had actually happened, right? We hit this. And the mentor that we've had previously, he has no doubt helped us to get to that 6-figure mark in this industry. Like, you know,
I mean, multiple six figures.
multiple 6 figures
He
for
helped
sure.
us, yeah.
And, you know, we're no longer working with him. However, we are working with other people, or we're seeking advice from other people. And it's okay for you to kind of go to different people as not in the sense that you've outgrown them, but just in the sense that you need a different voice as well sometimes. You're like, you need something new. You need like a different kind of information or different path. So anyway, I remember like we finally hit this level at what we wanted. And I said to my mother-in-law, like, you know, wow, we've hit this figures, blah, blah, this is what we're earning in our business. And she's like, please stop here. Like, you know, please, you don't need to earn any more than this. This is enough. She was like freaking out, literally.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean, Mom? Like, our next level is here. And she was just like, no way. That's a lot of money. You're going to change. You know, people are going to think that you've changed. And it just really got me thinking about the mentality. Like, sometimes people have a fear of like who they're going to for guidance or who they're going to listen to because of what kind of results they may get. And I simply said to my mother-in-law, I was like, look, it's not about what you do with your money. It's not about like you changing as a person, or you're going to become like this, or you're going to become like that. It's how you're earning it and what you're doing with it that really matters. And so even with myself, who you listen to, I love like following the stories and the people who are doing so much for like foundations and like for charitable causes and like really giving so much value to other people who need it more than us. And I didn't realize how big this was. You know, it's such a huge thing to be giving away like what you're making. Like they say 10%, right? At least of everything that you make, minimum 10%. And I love that whole ethos, because it means that you're open to receiving more. But like listening to people, like you're making a change in other people's lives around the world. And like, that's like, okay, this is what I want to do. And it's really inspiring. So you find different people for different areas that you want to progress, or you want to surpass yourself, your own ability or your own level of what you've hit. You want to go further, find the right person who's going to then take you down that path. That's really important.
And like I said, it can come in many forms. It can come in a form of friendship as well. A certain friend who's got what it is that you want. You're in their company. You're learning. You're listening to in that particular field.
Yeah.
They may not have the tick box that you're looking in each field. I have friends who are my mentors, and I listen to them over anyone. I have business partners who I don't have to pay for, but I listen because look at their results. Their results are a clear indicator of what they're thinking inside and what's gone on and what they've been through and how they've got there. They will share with you, or they should share with you. We're hoping they share with you. And then on the other side, we also pay for coaching. We have different coaches in different areas. I had personal training for many years, and so it's sometimes you got to pay for it. Sometimes you get one for free, like in network marketing, you get one for free.
And in your spouse, if I want any advice about fitness or health, I don't even have to ask him, right? Like, Vinny's got my vitamins ready.
I have to force it.
He's got my the lemon squeeze with the cayenne pepper every single morning ready. What's that thing I drink? The coconut oil?
The MCT oil.
The MCT oil, I'm like, listen, I'm not going to question. I did in the beginning. I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to take that. But I was like, listen, this is his area. This is his expertise. I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to follow someone who's got the results. And it's a compliment. Like, you really want to look after your wife. So
absolutely. I've got no choice. I have to force you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know Rupa has a God-gifted gene, being Gujarati. Her brothers, her family. If you look at them, they look very young. They're super thin. Their diet is in such a way that, weight doesn't go on to them. And I'm Punjabi, we just look at food and we gain weight. We got to take extreme. So, I think, for example, everybody's different. But generally speaking, yes, your body does require a certain amount of vitamins and minerals. But before we even took the vitamins and minerals, we got ourselves checked to see what we are deficient in.
By a professional.
You got to pay for it sometimes. It's not, some people think, I'm not going to pay. Well, guys, look, sometimes you've got to pay. And at the end of the day, you're paying for someone's expertise.
Exactly.
And, I love this, it's a story where, a plumber comes into a school. The school's got a problem with their water. Plumber comes in and the water's not working. And he looks at all the pipes and he gets a hammer and he just gives it one hard whack. And the water, boom, like magic. Great, plumber goes home. Plumber sends in his invoice to the school saying £500 or something like that, $500 or whatever. The school wrote back saying, he just whacked the pipe. They emailed him back, can you please give us a breakdown? And he goes, yes. He got very clever. He said, £5 for the hammer, or $5 for the hammer, $495 to know when to hit it, how hard and where.
Oh, absolutely.
That's spot on. The power. Yeah, that is the power, because they have an expertise. Like, if I'm doing a law case, you might see me in front of the judge for 5 minutes, but I know what I'm saying and I know what I need to say and what I need to do. And that might be 5 minutes for you. You might have just seen 5 minutes, but it's the whole experience and going in, day in, day out to court, knowing what to do. Same thing with Rupa. You might want to get her expertise on a chart. She might just look at it and tell you buy or sell here, whatever. But you're paying for her expertise and her knowledge and experience.
It's the years and years of trial and tribulation, right? Years of trial and error. And, no one gets it right the first time. No expert has ever got it right the first time. Like, they've been mastering their whatever it is for years and years and years and years. They've been practicing their trade for so long, and so that's the value you've got to put on it. It's how long they've been doing it and what kind of results they have. It's so important. But who do you listen to is just one of those most profound things that you can literally have a light bulb moment, realize that all these years you've been listening to the wrong people for the advice you want. You're still stuck in the same position, or you're still weighing the same, or you're still in the same bad relationship, or whatever it is, you haven't progressed. And it's because A, you're listening to the wrong people, B, you're around the wrong environment, and C, you're just not taking action upon the right advice. So all these things are so important to see progress.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that kind of sums up everything, just like you said. I mean, you might think, well, how am I listening to people? By being around them. You're subconsciously listening to them because you're picking up on what they're doing in different environments. You're with them, and you're, by observing them, being around it, being in that energetic field, you're picking up their traits, their habits subconsciously. So, like I said, for me, it's not about eliminating altogether. That you cut. Sorry, Mum, I can't speak to you because I want to earn a certain amount of money. Or Dad, it's about the time is being limited.
Yeah.
My interaction or with friends or certain friends is limited or limited to a certain field.
Yeah.
So this is the biggest thing that we've learned. That's why we wanted to make a dedicated podcast just to this one alone. I'm thinking back there, do we have a quote for that back there? We should do. I'm going to make one now. Remember, it's my old house. I haven't taken it to the new house. It was on my phone for a long period of time. But feel free to leave any comments, messages or questions. And as always, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And anything else, Rupert, before we sign off?
No, all good. Who do you listen to? Just drill it into your minds on a day-to-day basis. And, there's an element of detachment. So as Vinay said, don't just disregard the people you're around and they're giving you advice. You just know at what point to just stop listening and then go and listen to the right people. So yes, until next time.
Listen to your wife. Yes.
Always.